I fear I have a story time that's been brewing for years now, and I'm finally ready to tell it because this was the most insane first date I have ever gone on. So we'll start off. I matched with Homeboy on Hinge probably like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, he looked pretty fine. His profile was cool. He's like an anime illustrator and all of that. We had great conversation. He invited me out to a cabaret. One thing about me is I love the idea of a cabaret, never been to a cabaret. So the fact that he invited me to one, I was like, take my money. I'll pay for my ticket. Take me to the cabaret. I would love to see a cabaret in person. Fast forward to the date. He tells me where to meet him. I meet him there. I get there and I cannot find this man. And then I see someone that kind of resembles him, but I'm like, that's not him. Because in his profile pictures, he had a full-on beard. And this doesn't even look like a man. Turns out that was him. He shaved the beard off. Word of advice, if your pictures have you in only a beard, show up to the date with your beard. Maybe. Nonetheless, I get there. I'm dressed like a grown woman and he's dressed normal, but the beard being gone, he just looks like a 15-year-old boy and I look like a grown woman. I look like I'm grooming this man, even though he's older than me. I digress. We get there. He's like, oh, I didn't realize I needed tickets for this thing. So we are going to be in general admission line. I don't mind standing in line. That didn't bother me. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, let's just stand in line and wait. I have like social anxiety a little bit. So I don't like when people know that I'm on a first date. But this man is talking so loud. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe we're on our first date. I'm so excited to be on our first date. And people are looking at us and I'm just like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. Finally, we get inside. We go to the bar. He's like, oh, do you want a drink? And I'm like, yeah. Can I get an espresso martini with tequila? He gets me my espresso martini. He gets himself a drink. Did not hear what he ordered. We cheers. We're drinking, yada, yada. We both finish our drink. He asks me if I want another one. And I'm like, yeah, why not? So he gets me another one and he gets himself an espresso martini with tequila as well. The drink he had before was more like I want to say like mango-y, or it was orange colored. So it was fruity. That's not a bad thing though. So he goes to go take a sip of his espresso martini and this man looks like he's in pain. Dire pain. I was like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I don't really drink. And I was like, so why'd you get an espresso martini? What did you drink before? He was like, oh, that was a mocktail. I was like, so why didn't you get another mocktail? He's like, because you're drinking. And I was like, listen, buddy, no peer pressure here. If you don't drink, you don't drink. You do not have to drink because I'm drinking. That's not going to bother me. If you want to have a mocktail, or even if you just want a glass of juice, drink your glass of juice. I'm happy in my espresso martini. But don't put yourself through this pain if you don't want to. And he's like, okay, you want the rest? So he gives me the rest of his espresso martini. Cabaret is good and well, whatever. We leave. He's like, are you hungry? I'm like, oh, yeah, actually. Let's go get food. So we go to dinner. We're sitting at dinner. Dinner is fine. It's towards the end of dinner that we're talking and I'm telling him, like, I forget what story I'm telling him, but I'm telling him a story. And as you can tell from this story, I use my hands to talk. And homeboy, as I'm talking, he's like, and reaches for my hands and like clasps my hands. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I just wanted to hold hands while we talk. And I was like, I'm using them. He's like, oh, but I just thought it would be romantic. I was like, I get it. But like, I'm literally telling you a story with my hands. I don't want to do that. And he's like, okay. So then the restaurant is closing. The waiter comes over to give us the bill, basically. He gives him the bill. And as he gives him the bill, he goes to reach out of his pocket to get his wallet. And I don't know if these were thoughts that were supposed to happen in here, but they were happening out here. He goes, I hope I have enough. I hope I have enough. I hope I have enough. And I'm sitting there like this. I'm looking at the waiter. The waiter's looking at me. And I'm just like, I might need to pull out my wallet. Gives the man his credit card. Thank God the man had enough. He's like, oh, do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I think it's time for me to go home. He's like, can I walk you to the train? Train's like 15 minutes away. Yeah, sure, why not? Walk me to the train. So we start walking to the train, and he's like, I have a question to ask you. And I'm like, sure, what's up? He's like, I'm just a little too embarrassed to ask you this question. And I was like, what do you mean? Just ask the question. And he's like, can I kiss you? And I was like, no. He's like, okay. So we keep walking, we're talking, yada, yada. Then at this point, I really need to use the bathroom. So we're walking by a bar and I'm like, it's either I go into this bar and use the bathroom now, or I get on the train and have to hold it for like an hour before I get home. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go to this bar. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna run in there so I can use the bathroom. He's like, okay. So I run in. There's 2 bathrooms. I don't know if this part of the story is relevant, but there's 2 bathrooms. I go into one. The other one is open. He doesn't go in. I come out of the bathroom and he goes into the bathroom that I was in. I was like, there was a whole second bathroom you could have used. But while he's using the bathroom, I'm like, I can't believe this is what's happening right now. So let me just grab another drink. So I get another drink and I'm gonna down it pretty quickly. And I'm signing to pay for my drink. He comes out and they're like playing jazz music. And all of a sudden in the corner of my eye, as I'm like this, signing my check, I see in the corner of my eye, this. Like, he is breakdancing in a jazz club. I was like, this cannot be real. So I chug my drink and I'm like, okay, let's go. We're like 2 minutes from the train now. He says, oh, can I kiss you on the cheek? No, before that, he asked me, he's like, can I ask you another question? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. He's like, no, I'm too embarrassed. I don't want to ask. And I'm like, man, if you don't ask this damn question. He's like, oh, it's the same question as before. Can I kiss you? And I was like, no. The answer is still no. And he was like, can I kiss you on the cheek? And I was like, you know what? Fine. Kiss me on the cheek. I lied. Something happened before that. He asked if he could hold my hand, and I already felt bad for the guy, so I was like, yeah, go ahead. Hold my hand. We don't even like interlock fingers. We hold our hands like this, like friends hold hands. And as soon as our hands clasp, he goes with the other hand. I said, oh, am I this man's first bad bitch? Never be a man's first bad bitch. Anyways, so then fast forward, that thing happens where he asks about the kiss, and then he asks to kiss me on the cheek. And I say, yes, you can kiss me on the cheek because we're at the train now and it's time for me to go home. And I like turn my cheek so he can plant one right there. And he like swivels his head to go kiss me on the lips. And what are you doing? He goes, and I quote, I thought you'd be drunk enough that you wouldn't care. I looked at him in such distress, disgust, and fear. And I said, you should probably never say that to a woman again. And at this moment, I'm getting on that train and leaving. Please don't get on the train with me. I don't care if we're going in the same direction. Wait for the next train. Never speak to me again. And I proceeded to get on the train and go home. So that was my horror story of a first date, like 2.5 years ago. I did run into him at like a street festival and I saw him and I was like, oh my God, I have to act like I don't see him. And I was looking at waist beads and he came up and he's like, Carly, hey, Carly. And I just ignored him like my life depended on it because it did. I ignored the shit out of him until he walked away. And I was just like, and then my friend came over and I was like, oh my God, that was him. And that was the day that I realized I'm just too nice to men, even when they make me uncomfortable. And that needed to change.
Ready with me while I talk about why I broke up with my ex. I'm going to put it out there that I'm not talking about this to try and send anybody involved any hate or anything like that, but I'm just talking about it to try and hold myself accountable. So I think the first most obvious reason why is this guy has cheated on me twice, and even though I forgave him and tried to work things out, I realized that I forgave for it, but I'm not going to be able to forget it. In a different situation, it would have been slightly easier. Obviously, cheating is never going to be, and never should be forgotten about, but I feel like it would have been a lot easier for me to not necessarily forget, have moved on past it, but I guess it would have been a little bit easier for me to move past it if the other person involved, like, she didn't know about me, anything like that, but didn't know about me. This person would say and do very mean things to me as if I was the one who did that to her. So it was very confusing. Even if some of the people involved were not apologetic, I still forgave for myself and for my own peace and to be able to move on better. So I feel like that was the most obvious reason why. Since the summertime, really, I've been coming to terms that I actually really can't, can move past it, but I really can't forget that he was the person who did that to me. I felt like I was just waiting for something else to happen, so give me a reason to leave. I was stuck in this mindset that oh, well, I already told him that I forgave him, and I already told him that I was willing to work through it. Felt like since I had already said that wasn't able to say that this is why I'm breaking up with you because you cheated on me, even though I already told you that I would try to work through it. But I've come to the understanding that it doesn't matter how much time has passed since somebody has hurt you, you're still valid and your feelings are still valid, and you're allowed to leave no matter how long ago it happened. The people who hurt you are not allowed to tell you when you should move on and how your process is supposed to be happening and when it's supposed to be happening. They're not the ones who got hurt, they're the ones who hurt you. But what really pushed me is these last couple of months, my ex, he was just being rude to me all of the time for no reason. It was okay, if this doesn't stop by the end of November, I'm done. And it didn't. So even after all that he put me through, he would literally take out his insecurities onto me. Boy, you literally did all these worst things to me and you're still being rude to me as if I won't leave right now. So I did. But yeah, honestly, there's so much more to the story than that, but I don't want to make this video too long. If somebody has hurt you in the past and you have tried working it through, it doesn't matter how much time has passed since the incident, you are still valid to leave for that reason.
Ready with me while I tell you all the things my ex did, and I stayed. Starting off pretty strong, which this should have been my sign from day one, was I would talk to him about, people change, people grow, it's scary, what if we break up, we outgrow each other, and he's like, I'm the same person, I've been the same. I should have listened. I would give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, maybe he didn't understand what I meant. No, he definitely understood. He understood. He was telling me the truth. Because of course, as one does, now I'm in contact with his ex to compare notes. Mind you, his last girlfriend was, I think, freshman, sophomore year. We are now seniors. Nothing changed. He's the same person. But I digress. One time I asked for reassurance, as one does. His response was, I tell you I love you every day. Oh. He would literally give the silent treatment for hours. And by hours, I mean from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. Nothing. He would leave me unopened. No response. Nothing. Never got an apology. Never saw fault in that. I would be the one apologizing. I'm sorry I pushed you to that point. He would take play fighting to another level. Genuinely, I don't know. He did not understand that I'm a girl and can't play that rough. We were together for 7 months, and I don't know if you guys are keeping up with what's going on in our world, or in America, it's not pretty. So I think politics is a pretty, necessary thing to talk about in the long run and just in general, because we're nearing to be adults, and I need to know where he stands on certain things. He took it all as a joke and does not keep up with it at all, does not take any of it seriously. And I'm sorry, but nothing's funny about the White House and their posts right now. And because what is the deal with having to beg teenage boys to brush their teeth? I understand middle school boys, but 17 years old, and I never had the courage or anything to bring it up, or didn't have the heart to. But you could see build up. And I talked to his ex. She had to deal with the same thing. Yeah. But he was 15, 16 at that time. He's now turning 18 this month. And the kicker is he's going to school to be an orthodontist. Unfortunately, I could make so many more of these. So if you're wondering, my boyfriend does this, is it normal? It's probably not. Break up with him, have a good time.
So I just ended things with someone I've been seeing for 2 years, and here's why. So, the other day, I'm laying in bed, and he had the TV on at first, and then all of a sudden he decides to turn on the TV. I go out the room, I come back in, and I see I'm is he up? Because his phone brightness is so low. is down there, like, he's looking at a black screen. So I go up and I'm like, damn, your brightness is so dark. And he's all like, you know what? He was like, yeah. And he was like, but you know what? Yours is really bright. And I was like, okay, I'll turn. And he was like, can you turn it down? I was like, yeah, sure. So I turned it down, like, midways. He's all like, can you turn it down, please? Can you turn it down? Like, as if I never turned it down. And so I turned it down some more. And I was like, okay, turn it down some more. Like, down there to where it's like a little teensy bit to where that shit is at the lowest of the low. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't have good vision. So I need to see. Like, some shit I just can't see. So I'm just like, he tells me to adjust the brightness again, when it's already down there to the fucking lowest of the lowest brightness it could ever be at. It was like about an inch, I promise y'all, from being very bright. And he was like, can you turn it down some more? So after that, I was just kind of irritated. I'm just like, bro, like, you want my shit to match your shit, and I don't like to watch TV like that. Like, if I'm watching a show, I need some sort of brightness so I can see everything, you know? So at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm tired anyway, I'm gonna just turn on my laptop. I turned it off, and as I'm trying to go to sleep, I put my AirPods in to listen to brown noise, and all I can hear is talking through the brown noise. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I take off my earphones. This nigga got his volume loud as fuck listening to something. And I'm just like, how are you going to tell me to turn down my brightness because you're tired and it's too bright? And in the same breath, after you see me turn off my tablet to go to bed, don't turn up your shit. Like, so that irritated me. Left it alone. Just went to sleep that night. I barely didn't touch nothing, didn't cuddle, nothing like that, right? The next day I wake up and I realize, like, it's Sunday, it's my last day to stay here, but I don't have no drawers. And if you're a girl, you know that, like, we cannot wear the same drawers over and over and over and over again. Like, for me, especially because I'm very, like, I discharge a lot more than the average person, and therefore I cannot wear my drawers throughout the day. Like, I have to take them out at least midday. Like, by that time, it's gonna smell like discharge, but it's not gonna smell bad, but it's gonna smell like discharge, you know? And so I realized I didn't have no underwear, and, like, I'm not trying to struggle, and I can't even be naked. I have to wear underwear, because if I don't wear underwear, then the discharge is going to go out anyway. So it's just like, it's going to get all over the place, and I don't feel like doing that. So I go to wash my clothes. Mind you, he told me from the jump, because he knows I don't have a washing machine, I don't have a dryer where I stay, and he told me, he invited me to wash my clothes. He was like, you can wash here, you can always wash here, it's okay. After the first time I started washing there, like, the second time I went to go wash there, we were having a tough day, and so I went to go wash, and he was like, how many pods do I have? Because if I don't have enough pods, I can't help you wash, and you have to go get your own detergent. My mind, I'm like, why the fuck would you offer that shit? Because if I offer my friend, hey, you could wash at my place, I'm not going to monitor how much detergent they're using. I'm just going to let them know, hey, don't use a lot. You know, but I use only one pod every single time I wash, because I don't want to use a lot of pods, because I don't know how much he has. So I only use if it's a big load, small load, but it's always usually a small load. But I only use one pod. Got it. So that day, I'm washing, and he comes up and he's like, hey, are you washing? And I'm like, yeah, you can hear the washing machine going, but okay. So I'm like, yeah, I'm washing. And he's like, okay, next time, can you ask me so that I can let you know to count the pods, so that we can make sure that you're not using a lot of pods for the washing machine. I also need to make sure I have some left over. I'm like, and he was like, how many pods are left? He asked me that, how many pods are left? Y'all let me know if y'all have ever taken the Gain pods out and dumped them out and counted every single one per wash. Because I don't know who's doing that. So I'm just like, who the fuck is doing this shit? Like, and plus, mind you, he has, like, a job where he's almost making $100,000 a year. I'm not even making $40,000 a year type shit. I'm a server, so I'm not, or maybe I am, but I don't fucking know, because I'm a server. So I'm just like, you could afford to get plenty of Gain pods, like maybe 5 more boxes, maybe fill up a fucking thing of it, but I don't know. I just didn't want to say that because, you know, it's his money, it's not my shit. So I was like, no, I didn't count. And he was like, okay, how many did you use and how many are left? I said, I used one. And he was like, okay, so how many are left? I don't know. And he was like, okay, because I need to know how many, like, and I was like, and I told him, I was like, I'm just not gonna watch here no more, child. I'm just not gonna watch here, because this is too much of a problem. I've never had such a problem, and plenty of friends have told me I could wash in the past, and I've never been micromanaged to this extent. So I'm irritated, and so I'm just telling him it's a fucking, like, eventually I'm just starting to get short with him, because I'm just like, bro, get out my face with this shit. Like, this is stupid. But so yeah, that was the second thing that happened. The third thing that happened was when I woke up that day, this Sunday night. So I mean, it's Sunday. when I woke up on Sunday. I woke up on Sunday, he gets out of bed and he goes to play football. He goes to play, like, listen to the games loud. He had that shit on past 80, I'm sure. That shit was loud to the point where it felt like we were about to start cleaning together in that bitch on Sunday, because that's just what, you know, like the flashbacks, the triggers are hitting me in the nights when, you know, my mom used to wake me up to that music and we have to start cleaning, you know, so I'm just like feeling anxious already. And so I wake up and I'm like, my head's starting to hurt because I'm just like, bro, this shit is too much. I tell him, I go outside and I'm like, hey, can you turn down the volume, you know, because it's really loud and I have a headache. He says, okay. I hear doo-doo-doo. Turns it down like fucking three little points down. I said, after he turns it down 3 points, I'm just like, nigga, seriously? I told him I had a headache and he turns it down a little bit. So I go back out there and I'm like, hey, I have a headache. My head is just pounding. I just need it to be a little lower. It's just too loud right now. He turns it down 3 more notches. So that irritated me. Then that night, I sat there and I thought to myself, when's the last time this man even told me he loved me? Can't even really remember. So I go to my messages. I looked it up. He only says it back when I say it. Can't remember the last time he actually told me to my face. I remember actually one time it was when he was drunk. He's only told me he loved me twice in person, out of just the blue. And that was when he was drunk. And yeah, I know what you're hearing. You're like, oh, at least he was saying it was true when he was drunk. But get this, he never said it after that, right? So I tell him today, I'm like, you know, you never tell me you love me. And like, my love language is the words of affirmations. I need you to affirm to me that you love me. And he was like, well, he was like, personally, like for me, I don't tell nobody I love them until like I'm in a committed relationship with them. So why the fuck did you tell me, nigga? What the fuck? You know, because I would have never said it had I known that shit, you know? And so, I told him, like, he was like, only say it when it's, I'm in a committed relationship and I'm trying to wait till after the holidays to really do that and say that. And I'm like, seriously? Hurt my feelings, because I'm just like, bro, I must think I'm worthy of this. I must think that I am worthy to give my body, my money, my mental, my emotions to somebody and not even get an I love you at the end of the day. I thought about that shit. So this morning, because usually I just cut niggas off. I just don't even say shit. I don't even try to explain shit to niggas, because 9 times out of 10, the nigga will never take accountability. So, but every time I would cut him off without saying anything and he would try to come back and stuff like that, I would take him back. He would always make me feel bad because I never gave him that conversation. So this time I gave him that conversation. I told him, you know, point 1, you know, the brightness. Point 2 was the volume of the TV. Point 3 was the the game pods. And point 4 was the I love you. He took accountability for none of that. He told me that I should have told him to turn down the volume to where I felt comfortable at. Instead of me telling him I had a headache twice, he could have just turned it down to where he could hear it. I had to tell him over and over and over again, turn it down. Got it. With the brightness, he was like, you know, he was like, usually, he was like, if whatever I was playing was so loud, you should have told me that. Nigga, we are going to bed. Got it. Cool. I should have said it. I should have said something twice now. Got it. With the Tide Pods, he made up an excuse for that. He just needs to count how much so he can have a couple of washes. And if he has 6 pods, I can't use it. Whatever. Got it. No accountability. Got it. And even though I told him, I'm like, why would you tell somebody they could wash here? You're going to micromanage how much they fucking wash and what they use and when they use it. No explanation for that. Then I told him with the I love you thing. I don't say nothing until this. Got it. So no accountability was taken. And I tried to tell him, I'm like, look, if you were to take accountability, I'm not leaving. If you take accountability, I'm not going to go nowhere. I'm still here. He refused to take accountability, so I left him. And that is why I ended that. It was long overdue. I'm going to try my best to just ignore it, keep pushing, keep moving, and not fall back into the stupid-ass trap that is men. Even though it's hard and it sucks because I really just wanted to be happy. But I guess I got to go another God knows how long until I learn my lesson of sticking up for what I believe in. So, yeah, again, if a man says he does not want to be in a relationship with you right when you're ready, when it's definitely time, chances are you're never going to end up in a relationship with him.
I had one of the worst days at school today, and I'm going to be doing a story time on it. I was going to do a story time on this, but I was really hurt, and so I want to do a story time. I'm going to be using names, so there'll be boy 1, boy 2, boy 3, and then girl. I suck at story time, so just try to stay with me. And hopefully this makes sense. I was humiliated at school today. Okay, so boy one always like trolls me, and like I just laugh at his trolls sometimes. Like, he doesn't even bother me anymore. Like, and it never really bothered me. I mean, it was kind of like whatever. But he always trolls like about the same stuff. And usually I would just laugh it off. So boy one came up to me today, and he was trolling per usual. And basically what they troll about is nothing okay. It's very inappropriate. He comes up to me and says, hey, boy 3 wants to fuck, and that you should let boy 3 fuck. Saying all that disgusting stuff, and usually I just laugh about it and like I joke, because we're not on bad terms, we're not like enemies. He just trolls, no problems with him. Then boy 2 comes over. Never spoke to boy 2 in my life, never spoke to him. He's never spoken to me, although I have had problems with girl before, which is his girlfriend, and she came up with him right after boy 1 came to me. She came up with boy 2, which again is her boyfriend. He tells me the same thing that boy 1 just told me, saying boy 3 wants to fuck, you should fuck boy 3. And again, never spoke to this kid in my life, don't talk to him, he doesn't talk to me. So it was really wrong and unnecessary for him to come up and say that. And it's wrong to say that to a girl in general. You should never go up to a girl or anybody saying so and so wants to fuck you, especially when it's not true. Boy 3 wasn't around during this. Boy 3 is their friend. Boy 3 is strictly just a guy they're saying that wants to fuck. Anyways, so I tell boy 2, because I've never spoke to boy 2 in my life, to shut the fuck up. And he went off. Mind you, this was in the cafeteria. I guess he didn't like that I told him to shut the fuck up, which again, what he said wasn't okay, so I had every right to tell him to shut the fuck up. He starts coming at me. He starts calling me a whore, and he's telling me that I need to watch my mouth. Who am I talking to like that? And mind you, he's yelling at me in the cafeteria. Everybody's watching. Also, again, I was sitting there peacefully by myself at that table. My friend was getting water. I was sitting there by myself on my phone doing nothing. They come up to me. Then this boy 2, he's standing there yelling at me. And he's telling me that I need to lose weight. That I'm fat. That I'm a fat whore. That I need to shut my mouth. He told me that he was going to spit on me. He told me that his girlfriend will crack me, aka beat me up. Mind you, this is all because I told him to shut the fuck up, because he comes up to me with that inappropriate shit. The whole time he's saying this outrageous stuff, I'm not even like going back and forth. The only things I'm really saying back to him is just shut up, leave me alone, stop talking to me, go away. During this time, he's sitting here arguing with me, and nobody does anything. Nobody defends me. Nobody comes over here. No teachers do anything. I'm just sitting there getting bitched by this guy. The entire lunch. The rest of the lunch, he was standing there saying stuff to me. And he was like recording the argument. Not even argument, because I wasn't even really arguing back. I'm just telling him to shut up. Anyways, lunch ends. He's still walking away from me, but he's still yelling like, you fat ass bitch. You're fat. You need to lose some weight. Saying a bunch of mean stuff to me. And I tell him again, shut the fuck up. And his girlfriend tells me and gets the attitude with me and tells me, you need to shut the fuck up. And she starts saying stuff. I can't even really understand what she's saying, but she starts saying stuff to me when this had nothing to even do with her. I'm like, I'm not even talking to you. She's like, yeah, I know, but you still need to shut the fuck up. And then I go to 4th period and I'm broken. Because if y'all don't know, I've been bullied my entire life, especially about my weight. And I'm trying to keep it together right now. And lately I've been struggling with my weight extra hard. So him coming at me and saying all that stuff really, really hurt. You guys truly don't understand the embarrassment I felt sitting in that cafeteria getting yelled at. And these people don't even know me. And they're sitting here commenting on stuff that I try to change about myself. I'm about to get a little raw here, but I genuinely came home from school not wanting to go back to school and not wanting to be here anymore. And yes, it's all because of your words. Because those words hurt when that's all I've heard my entire life. And it's something I've been struggling with really bad lately. So I genuinely just want to say that was almost my 13th reason. Because I didn't deserve that. I really don't think you guys truly understand that words hurt. And I know it sounds so silly. Because it was just a silly little argument. Not even argument, because I wasn't even trying to go back and forth. But I was genuinely about to relapse. Because I'm really tired of hearing the the same thing all the time. And again, like I said, that stuff has been hitting me hard lately. Like, I've been extra sad about the way I look. And I just took that with me because of the embarrassment. And what he said, it made me really reconsider life. And I know it sounds so silly over this stupid thing, but you just don't understand how bad this stuff really hurts me. I'm really scared to post this. I'm really scared. I just want to get out there. Bullying is not okay. Being mean to people is not okay. If you're a bully and the person that you bullied ends it, you're gonna be the reason. Anyways, I love you all so much, and I hope you guys are okay. Bye. Okay, so this is a part 2. This is just like updating you guys. I am not coming at anybody. I am just stating stuff because this is my account and I'm allowed to, and I'm not saying names. I just want to go ahead and put everything out there right now. Little backstory, I got into a fight in 8th grade. That is the past. I have no problem with the person I got into a fight with. At least I don't think so. This was 8th grade drama, girls, whatever. Literally a week later, I was fine with that girl. We talked. We were okay, I guess. Anyways, that's not the point. This is not the girl, by the way, that was in the last video. But the girl from the last video does come and play here because when I was fighting the other girl, the girl from the last video jumped in to that fight and tried to, like, get me and, like, beat me up. So that's where history comes in with her. But before that, she never liked me, and I know she never did because I'd always get looks and all that stuff, so. But I just want to make it clear one more time, the girl that I originally fought in 8th grade was not the girl that was in the last video. But the girl that was in the last video jumped in for the girl I got into a fight with in 8th grade. And again, I'm only putting this out there to show where our drama started. Anyways, that's not the point. Okay, and now I'm just going to be talking about the girl from the last video. Again, I'm not doing this to bash anybody, not doing it to bash anybody's name. I'm just giving you guys an update because, yeah. This girl was popular. She had a bunch of friends, a bunch of people she knew the popular people, whatever. People that she's friends with would always talk about me, and they'd call me fat and all this stuff in group chats. And it happened after the fight, so I'm pretty sure it was 8th grade year 2. Again, I'm only talking about the girl from the last video right now, by the way. Her comments on my weight or whatever. And saying how I'm fat or whatever. And I do bring up and say, well, yours too. Which, yes, that is probably very wrong of me. It is very wrong of me because I shouldn't be saying that. But I was hurt, and it was 8th grade. I was hurt because how could you call somebody fat when, like, somebody you know is? And I'm only saying that, like, this girl's, she's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, she's pretty. But in my mind at that time, it just clicked, like, I only said that because I was trying to defend myself, and how would you feel if somebody was going and talking about your sister like that? That's the only reason why I would say that. I would never just go up to somebody or just randomly tell somebody that they're fat or that they're too skinny. I would never say anything like that. So the whole reason I said that was because of that. And literally a week later, I apologized to her for it. I didn't get apologized ever, but I apologized to her about it. So that just shows something. But I just want to make this so clear that I would never actually call somebody that because I am myself. I have no right to say that to anybody. Anyway, so that's where the whole backstory goes into. And yeah, she just never really liked me. Even, again, before the fight. So we're going to go back up to now. I heard from I need to go meet her after school. Or that I should meet her after school or something. And obviously, I'm grown. I don't want to fight. I don't want to argue. I don't even want to be talking about this, but I feel like I need to. But again, I just found that out today. And then today she texted my friend and was like, hey, you need to tell Kelsey to text me. Or something like that. I don't know exactly what she said. I just know that I was supposed to text her. So I did. I sent her a very mature message. Well, I try to be very mature about it. Basically stating how I don't want problems. I don't want drama. We're too grown for it. That, like, this is middle school stuff. Basically just saying stuff like that. And from her side of things, she was just saying, like, you told my boyfriend to shut the fuck up. Da-da-da. He wasn't even talking to you. But I know he was 100% talking to me because he was looking me in the eyes and literally said that. Literally said what he said. So yes, he was talking about me, but I just kind of went with it like, oh, okay, whatever. Because I don't want drama. I don't want to argue. Middle school me probably would have, but me now, I don't want drama. I'm basically just stating like how I'm too grown and da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, the only reason he lashed out is because you told him to shut the fuck up. But I'm like, the only reason I said that is because he was talking to me. I wouldn't randomly just go tell someone to shut the fuck up. Like, why would I do that? Especially if I randomly told someone to shut the fuck up, obviously they lash out on me. I told him to shut the fuck up because he was talking to me. And then the whole reason why she was mad apparently is because when he was talking and he said that my girlfriend will bang or crack you. He said something like that. I was like, no, she won't, or something like that. Because 1, why would we fight in the Big 26? 2, why are we fighting over the words shut the fuck up when you started it? So yes, I did say no, she wouldn't, or she wouldn't do anything or something like that. Because why would you? But I don't know why there was a whole fit thrown about that. She's trying to fight because of that. She was basically just trying to like show me what she's about in the text messages. And then obviously complained about the whole thing about him talking about stuff that I already struggle with, that I have problems with, that isn't okay. And then she brought up the whole stuff about herself and how I called her fat. I don't even think I ever even said the word fat out of my mouth when I talked about it. I'm pretty sure it was that person that said something about me being fat, and I was like, okay, well, she is. I don't even think I ever specifically said fat. And even if I did, I am sorry, that was wrong on me. Like, I know that it was wrong with me. But I'm getting bashed here by a group chat, by your people. Obviously, I'm going to be hurt and say something like that. Anyways, besides that, I even apologized to her again about it, though, in the message. I'm like, I'm sorry I didn't, like, I'm sorry about that happening. But again, that was years ago. Anyways, and I'm, again, just trying to be very mature about the situation. I literally keep saying how we're grown and, like, just see it from my POV. Like, you gotta understand where I'm coming from. She just kept saying how, well, he wasn't even talking to you. He's mad because you said shut the fuck up to him when he wasn't even talking to you, da 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 da. And I told her, like, I'm just trying to be drama free. Like, why are we still going on about this? It's over a word, shut the fuck up. And yeah, that's just like a summary of what was talked about. I'm not gonna obviously like say everything, but that's just like a little summary. Oh, and then like she said that if I continue talking about her or him, that I know what will happen. Like, obviously there's gonna be more drama, and that she would like fight me if I talked about them. Okay, so my phone was at 1%, so I had to switch locations. I'm on my bed now. And anyway, she was just basically saying to keep their names out my mouth and stuff. And yeah, but I'm not trying to get in any fights. I graduate next year. But I'm really hoping that that was the end of it, and that there actually is going to be nothing more. Because I genuinely just want to be drama free. I don't want any problems with anybody. I don't want anything going on. And I just want to say this video or the last video isn't coming at anybody. I'm just trying to state how this affects people. Last video I was just trying to like show kind of awareness of what bullying can do to somebody, because that's how I felt. This video I'm just kind of giving you guys a little update, but I think I pretty much covered up everything, summarized everything to the best I could. And if this was like out of place or wonky, I'm really sorry. I really suck at story times, so I just kind of like I don't know. I hope it makes sense to some of you. Again, I didn't say names. This is my platform, so I wanted to talk about this, and I hope nothing happens from me posting the video, posting this, or posting the last video. All I want is peace, but I feel like I have a right to say something on here, because again, it's not okay. My whole account is about like positivity, love, awareness, get ready with me, stuff like that. These posts are kind of like for an awareness thing, to show you guys like bullying is never okay. This is what bullying does to someone. This is how people can be hurt from it. Yeah, I really hope this is the end of it though, that there's no more problems or situations. And I just hope it's all over, because yes, we are way too grown to be doing this. There's no way we're still doing this at this age. Anyways, I love you all so much. Bye.
Unready with me while I tell another Utah dating horror story. So this story is about a guy that I was hanging out with for a while. I mean, let's be honest, we would just hook up. Don't judge, don't judge. At this point, we had hung out a few times. We're at his house just hanging out. We were like watching a game or something, I don't even remember. But at some point he wanted to like get down. And I just like wasn't in the mood. I wasn't feeling it. I was like, no, I just kept shutting down. I kept saying, no, I'm not in the mood. I don't want to. Can't we just hang out? Like normal people, like why can't we just hang out? Kept turning him down. He decides that it doesn't matter what I want. I'm just gonna keep on shooting his shot anyway. He pretty much just ignores me. He's just going for it anyway. I'm just like, whatever. He obviously is just gonna keep trying. This is annoying. I don't want to put up with it, so I go along with it. Afterwards, I'm like bugged, right? Bugged, I'm pissed. I was telling him I didn't want to. He didn't listen to me, which I understand is a whole nother issue. But this is just story time. That's a whole nother issue. We'll deal with that later.
Trust me. I'm bugged, rightfully so. I'm like, these guys just don't listen. They don't care about anybody themselves, whatever. Couple days later, I'm at work. Me and all my coworkers at this job were like really, really close. They're very into my dating life. Like, they know everything. I'm everyone's source of entertainment in my life at this point. They know everything about this dude. And this guy actually met through one of my coworkers who like set us up. So they are always asking for updates on him. So I'm at work and I'm like, oh my gosh, guys, like he just texted me. He was like, hey, I'm kind of nervous about the other night. Are you on birth control? Should we get a plan B? Happy to get one, just like let me know. And I'm like still bugged, right? I'm still bugged that I was like saying no, I didn't want to, telling him like I didn't want to do anything that night, and he just kind of like wouldn't give up and just kept nagging. So I was like bugged and I was pissed and I was like, he deserves to be punished. He deserves to worry for a second. Now I'm on some really good stuff. I'm not getting pregnant, but he doesn't know that. And I'm like, I'm not gonna tell him. If he wants to sit there and worry, like I'm gonna make him worry. He was not listening to me. I'm gonna sit here and make him sweat. Was it the nicest thing? No, but what he did to me the nicest thing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. In fact, it was worse. So I don't even feel bad. So I respond. I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've been so worried. To get me a plan B, whatever. We definitely need to figure this out. Like, it had been a couple of days, so I'm like, we need to do it soon. Like, we have to do it within the first like 72 hours or something. I don't know. I've never taken one. He's like, oh my gosh, yeah. He's like, I'm at work, but I'll Venmo you. You can go get it, whatever. Of course, I'm updating all my coworkers about this in real time because, you know, we're all just like besties and so invested in my life. Everyone's like, just take the money. Just have him Venmo you $50 for the pill and just pocket the money. Say you got it. Like, you're $50 richer. Like, yeah, but I don't care. That's not the point. Because then he still gets away with it. Like, this is easy for him. He just gets to like do whatever he wants. Just Venmo me and be like, go get it. Go to the store, go get it. You take it. You worry about it. Like, no. I'm gonna make him sweat a little more. Like, I feel bad even saying. So I'm like, I'm stuck at work all day. Like, I cannot get away. There's no way. But like I said, this is like, we're running out of time. And I was like ovulating. Like, I was making up so much shit, okay? I'm like, I'm probably gonna get pregnant. Like, I was ovulating. Like, this is so bad. We're running out of time. You need to hurry. I can't leave work at all today. Like, I'm not gonna be able to get away. Like, I actually need you to go get it. Like, sorry, you're gonna have to take the time. You're gonna have to take the time out of your day and you're gonna have to go get it. And of course, he doesn't want to. He like throws a big fit and he's like, no, like for real, I'll send you the money. Like, just go get it. Like, it'll take you 2 seconds. And I'm like, it'll take you 2 seconds. I need you to do it. I need you to go. I'm like, you're gonna take time out of your day. You're gonna take time out of your day. You're gonna do this. Let's teach you a lesson. He calls me. Answer it and I put it on speaker. We're just listening to him literally sit here and bitch about how he doesn't want to have to go get the pill and he doesn't understand why I can't go get it and blah 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 blah. He's just like literally yelling at me on the phone. He's like, Emily, why are you being so annoying? Like, just go get it. Like, it's not that hard. Come on. Like being a jerk, okay? Like, he's being a jerk to me on the phone. All my coworkers are like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be good. Like, we're doing the right thing. I finally convinced him on the phone that there's no way I can leave work, but like, if he doesn't hurry, like within the next couple hours, then time's up and I'm pregnant and we're gonna have a baby. Like, men. So he's like, fine, I'll bring it. Like, I'll go get it and I'll bring it. I'll be there soon. He pulls up to my work and texts me and he's like, I'm here, I wanna come get it. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna let him. Like, no, he has to do this whole follow through because now everybody at work knows the story. Everybody at work is invested. Like, I'm gonna make him follow through with my whole entire plan here. I text him back and I say, no, you need to come in here. I'm not gonna come out and get it. I was the one telling you, like, we shouldn't do it. I don't wanna mess around. I don't wanna do anything. You weren't the one that was listening, so you get to come in here and hand me the pill. Finally, he comes in. Then he's wearing sunglasses and a hat and bright red. I can just tell he's so embarrassed. I introduce him to all my coworkers. I'm like, oh guys, like, this is so-and-so. Like, everyone's like, oh, you're so-and-so. Like, wow, good to meet you. Like, obviously everyone knows what he's here for. And so, like, in front of everyone, I'm like, do you have it? Like, let me see. Like, give it to me. Like, I need it. Like, and he's like, oh, so everyone knows. And I'm like, oh yeah, like, these are my friends. Of course they know. He's like bright red and so embarrassed, and you can tell he's hating every second of this. I'm like, yeah, this is what you get. So he hands me the pill, and I'm like, perfect, thank you. Bye. Like, you can leave now, bye. Like, runs out of there as fast as he can. He was probably so embarrassed. I would be. I mean, we were definitely acting like we knew something he didn't. He leaves, and I text him, oh, is someone a little embarrassed? Like, you seem super embarrassed. You wouldn't even take off your sunglasses. He texts me, yeah, like, that was for sure, like, so embarrassing, but you seem to be enjoying it. And I was like, yeah, I honestly thought it was the funniest thing ever. And then I text him again, and I'm like, especially since there's no chance I'm getting pregnant. Like, I'm on birth control, we're good. He calls me immediately. He's like, I did all that for nothing. Yeah, I was like, next time I say no, like, I mean it. Hope you learned your lesson. Listen to me next time. Try to push the limit with me. After that, he would for sure never speak to me again. But he did, and I will say, definitely taught him a lesson. He listened to me every single time after that and took me seriously. And did I feel bad the whole entire time? Low-key, yeah, because I was like, this is super embarrassing, and I'm straight up lying to him. Sorry, you, like, violated me, so I shouldn't feel bad. Never took the pill. Obviously, I didn't need it, but now I hope that every other girl that tells him no, he thinks back to this time and he takes him seriously. But yeah, I mean, I have a Plan B pill if anyone needs it, so.
Time. Finding out I was pregnant at 15. This is always so funny when it comes up in casual conversation, because obviously it's not a casual thing, but when people find out I'm 22 and have a 6-year-old, kind of know. So end of February, March 2019, I was 15 years old, and I was in a relationship with my now husband. Things were very on again, off again. He is 2 years older than me, so he was 17 at the time. His plans were to go to college, and obviously I still had 2 years of high school, so it was kind of like we were trying to break up because we knew we'd be apart but couldn't stay away from each other type of situation. Also, I do feel as if it's important context that I grew up in a very religious town family, no sex before marriage, okay? I feel like this plays in because it's important context to why I was not on birth control. I didn't feel as if I had a safe space to go to anyone about birth control. I shouldn't have been having sex, was how I was raised. And so I felt a lot of shame around the fact that I was having sex, but felt like I wasn't going to stop. I know that's kind of like a lot, but obviously I'm talking about being pregnant, so sex, pregnancy kind of go hand in hand. Had taken a handful of Plan Bs. We used other ways of protection, but ultimately it was not enough in the end. So at this point, me and my husband had broke up for probably the third time, like finally calling it quits, about a week before I found out. So a week after we call it quits for the third time, it's not even on my radar, just like finally coming to terms with the fact that we're probably done and I'll be okay. And I remember the day so vividly. My friend had gotten back from Czechoslovakia. She brought us souvenirs and we were hanging out, just having the best day ever. It was a little Sunday. We went on a little adventure up behind my house in like the hills and laughing our heads off. And I get home and I'm like, I haven't had my period in a week, but I had taken a bunch of Plan Bs. Like, my period wasn't all that consistent anyways, so I wasn't really that stressed about it, to be honest. My husband had texted me. Okay, my ex-boyfriend at the time had texted me and was like, your period yet? I was like, no. He's like, I think you should just take a test and just see, just to be safe.
so we don't have to worry about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not going into the store to get the test because we live in a very small town. And I was like, I refuse to go in and like get the test. So if you want to get a test and pick me up, that's great. So he gets the test and he comes and grabs me from my house and we go to a park bathroom. I cannot believe it. Sorry. Side note, I just cannot believe I'm like just telling this. Like, I don't know. I've told so many friends or like, I don't know, acquaintances this story, but it's just crazy, obviously. Like, I was 15. So, the park bathrooms, and I go into a stall. I take the test. This is finally where it hits me, where I'm like, what if it's positive? And I start shaking, and I'm really scared. And I don't look at it. I'm like, I want to look at it together. So, I go outside of the bathrooms, and I sit in the car, and we flip the test over, and it was positive. And instantly, I just remember disassociating. And I felt like I did this a lot throughout my pregnancy, throughout the first year or two of my daughter's life. I disassociated a lot. So I just remember feeling out of body. I don't remember like straight panic, but I do remember feeling super out of body, kind of like I was watching a show. Like, this was not me, this was not my life. I remember ex-boyfriend being really upset, was pacing around, kind of panicking. We got in the car and started driving just to like go through what this means. And I remember us looking at it a couple times, obviously triple checking, and then I remember us driving up this road and he just throws it out the window. Obviously we weren't ready for anyone to know, so we didn't want to have the evidence. I remember us driving around talking about how I'm gonna tell my parents, how I felt like I couldn't tell my parents, how I didn't know what to do. I had an instant feeling of knowing that I was going to keep the baby. I never questioned adoption. I never thought of that as an option. I'm fortunate enough that I didn't have to. I knew that my family was going to love and take care of me, which is not the situation for most. So I didn't know how my family would react, but I knew that my family would always love, take care of me, and take care of my baby. I told my ex-boyfriend at the time, I'm like, listen, this does not mean you have to be with me. This doesn't mean that, you know, that we're back together, and this doesn't mean that you have to be in this baby's life, but I'm for sure going to keep the baby. That's what I'm going to do. No one's going to be able to get me to give up this baby. Like, that's not happening. We're not doing adoption. We're not doing adoption. And he was kind of pulling a little bit more for adoption. I think he was thinking a little bit more rationally than I was. I was very emotional and just thought about having my baby and wanting my baby. He definitely has a more logistical mind, and so he was definitely going over logistics of how this would actually work. And I definitely have always been more of an optimist, and so I was just kind of like, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna be able to figure it out. And I remember him dropping me off. He felt like at peace with that decision. And so remember telling him, like, I do not want you to be with me just because we're having a baby. I remember on the drive home, we instantly did call his sister and tell her, and she was very supportive. Ended up not telling my parents for like 2 weeks after that. It might have not even been that long. Like I said, I was very disassociated, so I don't remember some pieces, but dropping me off, being at peace with it. I remember messaging him and being like, yeah, I don't want to be in a relationship with you if the only reason you want to be in a relationship is because we're having a baby. He told me, he said, I feel like God put this baby in our life because we are supposed to be together. Soon as you told me you were pregnant, I knew that we were supposed to be together, and there hasn't been a question in my mind since finding out you were pregnant. And I was like, okay, guess we're doing this. And I have a lot more stories in the aftermath because it gets more messy. This was the fairly tame part. It gets a lot more messy, and I'm like, I debate whether or not I should share any of that. Do not condone teenage pregnancy. Teenagers should not be giving birth, and teenagers should have access to birth control, in my opinion.
Of course. How selfish of me.
I wasn't sure that I was gonna film a part 2, but people have been asking for one, and I feel like it's a much more interesting story after the fact. A little disclaimer, this is my story. I'm going to be mentioning people without their names. I mean, my parents are obvious, but everyone else, like outside of my family that I struggled with, I am not going to be mentioning their names, and they could be totally different people now. I do not know any of them personally. I haven't seen these people in years. I have no ill will towards any of them. I think high school is a really hard time for a lot of people, and so I don't hold any of this against anybody. But it didn't make it easier at the time. Who knows? They might have been going through something really hard themselves, and yeah, I knew I had to tell my parents. This was gonna be really, really hard for me. Obviously, no one wants to disappoint their parents. The first person I told was my mom. I'm a lot more scared of my dad, or I was a lot more scared of my dad at the time. He's a lot more confrontational. I love both my parents so much, and they've been such a support to me throughout all of this. I don't know what I would do without them. I remember us driving to the next town over. Since we live in such a small town, we had to do a lot of our errands out of town. And so I remember us going to the next town over, and while she was running an errand, I took the car and I went and took another pregnancy test in a Walgreens bathroom, just to make sure before I drop this bomb, change my life forever, change everyone's life forever. Take another test. It's even more clearly positive at this point. So I decided to tell her. My plan was to tell her on the way, and I could not bring myself to do it. So we're driving back home, and I'm like, I have to tell you something. I have to tell you something. She can tell that I'm really shaken up, so she decides to pull over. She's like, just tell me, just tell me. And I think she had a feeling. And so I finally get it out. I tell her that I'm pregnant, and she's immediately comforting, immediately showing me love. She gives me hugs, and she tells me that we're gonna be able to figure it out, and that she's there to support me. Obviously, I'm very shaken up, crying, the whole nine. We both decide right then and there that it's best for her to tell my dad. Me and my dad at this point in our lives, we've gotten a lot closer now, but at this point in my life, we never saw eye to eye. We were always at each other's throats, and I didn't want to tell him. I was too scared, honestly. My husband also told his mom. She was upset. I'm not gonna speak for how that situation went because I wasn't there in that moment, but I kind of left that one up to my husband. I remember coming home after I knew my mom had told my dad, and I was the most nervous I had ever been in my whole entire life to face him. I did not want to look him in the eyes. I was so scared. And I remember my mom had bought me a new bed frame, and so I went up into my room, and like, I did not look. I just went up into my room and I started building this bed frame, and he came up into the room to help me with the bed frame and talk. So as we're looking at the pieces of the bed frame, I think it helped that we had a task that we were doing together. Immediately very upset, but instead of directing anger at me, I could tell he was very disappointed in me. But he was even more upset at my husband for being reckless. Since he was older than me, he's like talking about sending him to jail. And like, I think a lot of people can relate to their dads being protective of their daughters, and immediately trying to protect. He thought that my husband was being reckless. He had the previous knowledge of us breaking up and me going through a really hard breakup with my husband beforehand. So he felt like my husband was the one being reckless, even though it was obviously both of us. Very mad at him. Wanted him to go to jail, like wanted to press charges. I'm like, Dad, because my husband had just barely turned 18. Like a week before. It was my husband's like birthday when we had broken up the week before I found out. So I immediately jumped to my husband's defense and I'm like, if you do anything, you will never see this baby. Like, you will absolutely never see this baby if you think doing anything to her father, his or her father, I didn't know at the time, is gonna change the situation, make it better. You're wrong. Like, I will choose him over you guys. And that would be very difficult because my family obviously had the means to support me, but I was like, he means a lot to me. He's gonna be a great father. Like, no. If any of that happens, like, I will immediately cut you off. Like, I'm not gonna do that. Before that, he had talked to me about, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to adopt? And I'm like, I don't. And he's like, well, first of all, we don't even know if you're gonna be able to carry this baby to term. Even thought of, up to that point, the possibility of having a miscarriage was a possibility. And so, like I said, very religious, brings up the church encourages adoption, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm keeping my baby. I don't want to do that. I already love this baby. I'm not gonna do that. And he's like, okay, well, of course we're gonna love this baby. Like, this is our grandbaby. This is gonna be really hard. You're not a kid anymore. You're gonna have to really step up. And I'm like, I know. Like, I am planning on that. That is my plan. I feel like transitioning into this role was fairly natural for me, watching my sisters having babies around me. My sister was actually pregnant with a baby at this exact same time. That helped to have her be pregnant alongside of me so we could go through the journey together, have new babies together. It really bonded us. I was filled with a lot of fear, obviously. This video is already getting long, so I don't know if I should move the more juicy stuff. I just feel like I had to include how my parents reacted. Parents know me and my dad are very still butting heads. This caused a lot of strain on my parents' relationship with one another. My dad honestly handled it a lot better than I thought he was going to. But I didn't feel comfortable bringing my husband around, so I did not do that. Anytime I wanted to see him, I would leave. And my husband didn't talk to him for probably 5 months afterwards, just because we were like, we do not want any aggression. So I kept my husband away. First trimester was very, very hard. I was very sick. I missed school a lot. I felt like I needed to tell someone. All of my friends were very religious, okay? Like, they grew up in families. I knew for a fact none of them were having sex. So I did not feel comfortable coming to them. Even though I had such great friends and they would have been amazing, I was so uncomfortable with the idea because they didn't even know that me and my boyfriend were having sex, and they knew all of this breakup stuff, and I just didn't feel like I had the capacity to like come out telling someone again. And so I decided to open up to a different girl in my class. Me and this girl, very on and off friends. Like, she was my frenemy, you know what I mean? Like, we always were in and out of friendship. We were like acquaintances, okay? And for some reason, in my 15-year-old brain, I thought, I don't really care about this relationship. Maybe I can just tell her. I knew she was having sex with her boyfriend, and I felt like I could just tell her. And so I did. I told her, I like went to lunch with her one time, and I told her, I was like, I'm pregnant. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I remember very little of this like interaction, except this is the interesting part. It starts getting really interesting from here on out. I almost noticed jealousy. That's kind of weird, but I'm like, obviously that's not what I'm reading. Like, I'm wrong, right? No one would be jealous of a pregnant 15-year-old. She also had a very serious boyfriend at this time. So I decided to tell her, and obviously I'm like, please do not tell anyone. I am not even 6 weeks pregnant. Like, I really want to keep this on the DL. Only my parents know. Of course, I would never, right? Later that day and the next day, my phone is flooded with messages. Flooded. People asking me if I'm okay, people asking me if it's true. And the funny thing is, a lot of the messages were like, my mom just told me. Parents, it was spreading through parents, and the parents were like taking this gossip and like telling their children about it, and then their kids would message me. I had people from then 2 towns, like each way, messaging me, asking me all of these personal questions. Like, this one girl told me, just so you know, there's rumors going around, like someone said that your mom like wanted you to get pregnant and that you don't know who the dad is, and all while like trying to like come to terms with the fact that I was pregnant. I had people from every which direction. I had people that weren't my friends, that made it clear that they were not my friends, reaching out to me and checking on me. And this was really, really unfortunate because I didn't even have the chance to take my own time and tell my sisters about it. My sisters, my siblings, no one knew. My siblings didn't even know yet, and my best friends didn't even know yet. I didn't feel ready to tell them yet. And I was forced into that situation. Yeah, I shouldn't have opened up to her, but I was forced into that situation. My friends were hurt that I didn't come to them. My little siblings found out through other people. I had to immediately tell my older siblings, and all of my siblings were nothing but supportive. I remember my one sister brought me gifts. My other one gave me a hug. I had to call my brother that didn't live here, and they were nothing but supportive. My family is just amazing. They're the best. Friends, I had great friends. They were hurt that I didn't come to them, and I can understand why. Like, I should have gone to them, but I was just so scared, and I knew this one girl wouldn't judge me, and so for some reason I thought that would mean a safe space. And it clearly did not. Obviously was very angry at this girl. Also, mind you, she is texting me saying, maybe we could be pregnant at the same time. She is messaging me saying stuff like, what if I got pregnant too? And I'm like, why would you want that? Like, I'm 15, like I did not want this. And I think she was going through her own, she had her own things, you know what I mean? I'm not saying she's crazy or anything like that. Nothing like that. I'm sure she had her own plethora of stuff. That's before I found out she told everybody. My husband was on the track team with her. And so he's like, dude, what the hell? Like, why did you tell everybody? Like, what is that about? And she was like, everyone was gonna find out anyway. He's like, that's not yours to tell, obviously. So this situation made it a lot harder on me. Once again, no ill will, okay? Everything worked out fine for me. There's no point in holding grudges. I'm sure she's really sweet now. It's her own family. I'm sure she's doing great. When it blew up, it got out. I honestly just held my chin high. I went to church all 9 months of my pregnancy. Held my head up high. I'm like, this is what it is. I dressed with my little bump out, my little 15-year-old bump out. I got a job at a little coffee shop that I liked. I have to mention this. I went to school. I was really sick, and I got cornered by a teacher. And she was like, you better not drop out of school. I'm like, I'm not planning on it. She's like, stay in school or you'll regret it. I'm like, great. I later find out this teacher had pulled together a group of students and was asking them the juicy details of my pregnancy and all the happenings around my pregnancy during school hours. She had pulled a group together. So that's just kind of the stuff that you deal with. I had some teachers that were really supportive and some that wouldn't even look me in the eye. Probably the hardest for me, everyone finding out and not being able to tell my own siblings. So, but I'm so grateful for my family and my amazing friends that brought me food when I was sick. It was the tail end of the school year, and I just finished school, kept my head down, I was sick a lot of it, so I missed a lot of school. My dad was really frustrated with me that I kept missing school, but I just felt so sick, and he's like, you gotta get up, you gotta do, you know, he wanted me to not give up. Ended up doing my junior year online and then quitting my senior year. I had a really hard postpartum. I ended up getting my GED and going to aesthetic school. That's all later on, but everything did work out. And I love my little family more than anything, and I can't imagine my life without my JoJo. She is my sunshine. That I have a wonderful, supportive husband who had my back through it all. Not everyone's so lucky. Yeah. Thanks for listening. If you want any other crazy pregnancy stories, I have a couple more.